Hey my beautiful witches, it is Murphy Hunter, Grey Hunter here. I wanted to make a video on advice to new witches. I'm just pointing my camera at my iPad so you can see the screen. I listen to a lot of witches chants and a lot of the music comes with beautiful photos. So I just thought it'd be nice for you to look at that versus just looking at my messy hair. So there you go. All right. So I have some stuff written down. The first one on my list of advice is spend your money wisely. Don't go into witchcraft thinking that you have to spend tons and tons and tons of money, because you don't. You don't, you know, you need to, I would say the only thing you should invest in right away is resources, which is your books. You definitely want to spend some money on books and buy used books. Go on Amazon, and you know, sometimes you can find some books really cheap. Go to thrift stores, you know, half-price books if you have one is fantastic. Reach out to your witchy community and see if anyone is selling their books or if anyone is willing to part with their books. Go to the library, you know. So those are ways that you can get you know, books and spend hardly anything or spend nothing at all. But you definitely don't want to spend your money buying oils and herbs and candles and athames and, you know, stuff to put on your altar and, you know, tapestries to hang on your walls and books of shadows. And you definitely don't want to buy all that until you're prepared to buy that stuff. When I say that prepared, because you may not use an athame. I have an athame. I don't ever use it, and I don't ever plan to use it. That's just how my practice is. I don't need it, but I do like having it. But do I need it? No. But in the beginning, I wasn't in a position to buy the things that I would like. I had to buy the things that I needed, and that's still actually that is still how I buy things. Even though I can order tons of stuff, I really don't have the I really don't have the need to do that. Now, there are a lot of things that I see that I want, you know, but I would rather buy things that I can use in my practice on an everyday, you know, things that I use on an everyday practices, you know, candles and oils, herbs, you know, those are things that I use on an everyday. Incense, I use tons of incense. Essential oils, you know, things that I use in my practice every day. And then if it's something, a big spell that I'm going to do, or just a spell in general, and I don't have that particular item, I'll go and get it. But if it's something that I don't use a lot of, I'm not going to go and buy a ton of it, you know. Like lavender, I use lavender for a lot of different purposes. So of course I'll go and purchase a lot. However, I have now started harvesting my own lavender. We actually came across, my daughters and I went on a harvesting trip, which we are going to do again soon, and we just went around and hunted for stuff in nature. You know, nature is the witch's grocery store. If you know what you're looking at. Now, this is where it comes a good investment to buy a book on herbs. Wherever you're living, research and see. If you live in Texas, you know, research and see what plants grow, you know, in your area or wherever you live. What can you harvest? What is there? And you know, you want to be able to take advantage of that because it's free. So definitely invest in a book on herbs and your native plants. That way you know exactly what you can use different herbs for, and flowers and all that good stuff. So that is for sure thing. But don't waste your money on buying stuff that you don't even know how to use or that you need. Wait till you get to that point in your practice to start spending money on that. Number 2, books. Books are a great guide. It's a great tool to help you guide yourself to your path. And not only just to your path, but to learn other paths as well, so you will have respect for other people's beliefs and what they value, and understand what their path is. I study religion, all different types of religion. One, because I don't want to sound like an idiot when someone is talking about their religion and I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm not a person to place judgment on someone, so you know, that would never come across, you know, my mind to place judgment on them. But I do want to understand people's religion and their beliefs and their cultures. But definitely use books as your guide, not only in to helping you find your path, but to understand what witchcraft is and what it is that you are, doing, what it is that the path that you want to take. When you are reading and you're using this the books as a guide to help you find your path. Once you find your path, you definitely want to know what path you're taking and what does it mean to you. You know, what does that mean to you, and how are you going to practice this path? How are you going to show respect for this path? And then, of course, you know, with books, again, you can learn how to use your tools, and that way you'll know what it is that your particular path, what you need to stock up in your witchy area. All right, number 3, the witches, how can I say it? The witches that act like they know it all. Beware of those, I should say. You know, there are a lot of witches out there on Facebook and on YouTube and in groups and, you know, meetups or whatever you're doing, that come across as know-it-alls. I don't care if a witch has been practicing for 20 years. If she's been practicing for 20 years, it doesn't mean that she knows it all. You know, we are still learning every single day, no matter how many years you've been learning, no matter how experienced you are, no witch knows it all. And, you know, you have to be careful of those, because those witches that seem like they know everything will try to push their beliefs and their way of thinking on a particular topic on you, or will try to make you feel like the way you're thinking is completely wrong. So beware of those know-it-all witches. Some of them can be a great mentors for you. You can learn a lot from them. But even with that, even with learning from a mentor, you have to be able to think for yourself and know if this is right for you, if this is how you view it. So don't let them, the witch know-it-alls, you know, beat you down with what they feel is right or wrong. And it doesn't need, you know, matter that you're new. If you don't understand something, pick up a book and read it, research it, and get to know it for yourself. Okay, number 4, resources. There are so many resources and free resources out there. Again, like I said, you have the library, you have, you know, the internet. There's so many sites, and there's so many sites and groups and, you know, free books that you can pick up, you know, to use for your, sorry, I'm trying to figure out why that has no picture, that you can use for your craft. You don't, you know, some witches get upset when you ask something as simple as, well, what do you use an orange candle for? Because there are so many resources out there that you could figure this out. You can buy a book. You can look on the internet for free. You know, you can look, hell, even like Pinterest has tons of information. You know, there's so many resources out there. Use your resources. If you are a witch on a budget, and like I said, you cannot afford to buy tons of books, go to the library. Most libraries, to get a card, is absolutely $0. So, and there's tons of books at the library. You'd be surprised how many books there are at the library. So many books on herbs and flowers, and a bunch of witchcraft books. So check your local libraries and get on there. You can get on their websites and you can type in the type of books that you want, and you can see if they're there. Okay, number 5, practice what you preach. Okay, so for me, it's like practice what you preach, learn it, and do it. Meaning that if you're going to sit here and say that you're a witch and you're doing all this. Just because you've read a book doesn't, or watched like 20 videos, you can't sit there and call yourself a witch. You have to practice it. You have to practice what you read and do it. You can't talk about protection. You can't talk about a love spell. You can't talk about, you know, a hex or anything else unless you're doing it, unless you're practicing it. You cannot call yourself a witch if you're not doing something, if you're not practicing with your craft. You know, if it's as simple as meditation, if it's as simple as, you know, protection or grounding yourself or cleansing yourself, simple things like that doesn't cost anything. You know, you can't sit there and call yourself you're a witch and you don't practice. I can't stand to see people who call themselves witches and do absolutely nothing. Okay, so you're a witch. What have you done? What is the last thing that you have done? What is the last witchy thing that you have done? And I don't mean just reading a book. I'm talking about as far as practicing your craft. What are you doing? Even if it's as simple as lighting an incense and giving thanks, you know, or something as simple as burning some sage and protecting your home. Something as simple as doing a cleansing on yourself. What are you doing? So that's practice what you preach. Learn it and do it. Number 6, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't let okay, so I say don't get caught up in being when you first start and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a witch. I have to do this. I have to read on divination. I have to read on crystals. I have to read on candles. I have to read on this and that. You are not only buying everything that you can put your hands on, but you're reading everything that before you know it, you have like 20 books in front of you, all on different topics, and you don't know shit about any of them because you're just skimming through them. Take the time to learn one thing at a time. You're going to be a witch for the rest of your life. You have the rest of your life to learn. Don't try to get everything in a week or in a month or 6 months, however long you think it's going to take you. You know, take the time that's needed. And don't get ahead of yourself. Too many people get ahead of themselves and then they hit a spot to where they have, they've become completely confused on what it is that they are, what their title is, and because they don't know themselves. They just went on a impulse and just went crazy on it. Number 7, have a journal or something to write down the spells that you're doing, rituals that you're doing. You want to write it down because say you did a protection spell or a money spell. Let's do a money spell. Say you've done a money spell and it has worked fantastic for you. But then 2 months from now, you want to do it again and you can't remember what spell you did. So you definitely want to write down the spells that you're doing. I have my little witch's date book that I bought. Now, it doesn't have to be that. It can be a spiral. It can be whatever you want. I write down all the spells that I do, any rituals that I do, when I've done protection on my house, on my whatever I've done protection on, my cleansings, anything that I've done, I write it down. 1, because I'm quite forgetful, and 2, and I think it's very good for you to have a record of things that you're doing. And after, if you say you do a money spell, write down next to it what the results are. So that way you can see how your craft is progressing, how your strength is progressing in your magic. Number 8, think for yourself and do what's right for yourself. Don't let someone else's thoughts or their beliefs cloud your judgment. If you think that you want to do black magic and someone's telling you A, there's no such thing as black magic, or B, you're going to go straight to hell if you're doing black magic, you know, and karma's going to come get you or whatever. I don't believe in karma because I'm not a Wiccan. I don't believe in I don't follow the Wiccan Read. But that is my path. That is where my research and my my reading and studying has taken me to where the path that I'm in. But I had to think for myself, because a lot of people, a lot of the witches were telling me, you just need to choose one and stick with that and blah, 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 blah. No, I have made my craft my own. I call myself, if I have to say a color, I would put it as gray, because I would do black magic, white magic. But for me, magic is just magic. But that's just how I think of it. Some people prefer to do the darker part of magic, which means that all they do is the darker magic, hexes and curses, and dealing with taking free will. I'm not saying I don't dabble in any of that. I do all of that, but I also do healing spells, protection spells, love spells. I do it all. I take all different types of traditional magic, from voodoo to hoodoo, Santeria and Palo, Native American, Gypsy, anything that I can think of that puts interest in me. And I, of course, show it great respect, and I also mold it to make it my own. And so that works for me. I'm very eclectic, and if someone's going to come and tell me that that's not working, it's not going to work for you, I don't have to prove myself to anyone. I know what works for me. I know what doesn't. And so you have to be able to think for yourself and stand up for yourself. And when someone says things like that, don't take it to heart. When they say, oh, there's no such thing as black magic. If you want to have a, polka dot magic, as your title, you go right ahead and do it. But stand behind it. Stand behind it and stand up for yourself. And don't be weak-minded or weak-hearted when you get, when other witches may question that. Number 9, meditate. I meditate every day, just about. It is wonderful. It's the only time that I can quiet my mind completely. And I have been doing meditation to reach out to my spirit guides on a different level. I'm clairvoyant, so I receive messages through dreams or visions, and I'm very, very grateful and honored to have that. But I want to reach my spirit guides at a higher level. I shouldn't say a higher level, at a different level, along with what I'm doing, along with the gifts that I do get from them. So I do a lot of meditation, and through meditation I speak to them, reach out to them, and I take myself to a different place through meditation. It's wonderful. So I really suggest that you try to get some information on meditation and figure out what's best for you. Number 10, listen to your intuition. Listen to that gut feeling when something tells you, hey, that's not right. Listen to it. If you are about to get on the expressway and you hear something, and when I say hear something, you hear it in your mind, a little voice saying, hey, don't get on there, you better take the frontage road. Don't second guess it. Listen to it, because those are your spirit guides talking to you. That's someone talking to you, telling you, hey, don't do it. Or if, they're telling you to do something, do it. For a perfect example for myself, I love meat. I love meat. But my daughters, 3 of my 5 daughters, are vegetarian. And, I respect their thoughts and why they're doing it. But obviously I didn't think highly or strongly with them to join them. But then I really started to think about what it is that I'm doing. I love animals. I have some animals. They are life. And we live in a country that food is just, we have an abundance of food around us, that we don't have to kill animals to eat. And it took a lot for me to get there, but through meditation and speaking to my spirit guides, I understand I truly understand now that you do have to sacrifice things in order to take yourself to another level. You know, every time that I was eating a piece of meat, something would tell me that I was being wrong. And I don't know if that was just because of, you know, listening to having what my daughters were saying to me, and not preaching to me, but just explaining why they don't eat meat, and watching videos on what happens to animals. I don't know if all that took place to it or not, but I started to listen. You know, closely, that I don't have to eat meat in order to be satisfied with a meal. And so now I started doing meat once a week, and then I started noticing that it was a day for me to have meat, and I wasn't even eating it. I don't miss it anymore. And so I completely gave it up. And it's going to be a new way of life for me. But I have noticed that I feel better. I've lost 5 pounds. And it keeps me from eating bad. There's so many fast food restaurants out there that you can stop at and pick up a burger, or pick up chicken, or pick up a sub, or there's so many things that you can stop and eat, and you don't. You can make better choices. Put some food in your bag and eat that, you know, snack until you can get home. Or I still go to Subway. I just have a vegetarian Subway. It's still freaking good. I still have pizza. I just have vegetarian pizza. You know, everything that I thought that I couldn't do. Like, I had a veggie burger last week. It was delicious. And I was satisfied. Don't miss it. But I listened to my intuition that I was going to start feeling better. Not only as a person, but feeling better health-wise. Because I wasn't taking on another life. I know that sounds weird and all, but it really did hit me. And I was able to just walk away from it. So, number 11, participate with groups. If you're in a group, I have a group myself. It's a Brujas group on Facebook, and I have meetings, and, you know, I have a group on there, and, you know, you need to practice in your group. You need to post, you need to interact with other witches, and god dang it, if you can go to a meeting, go. Do it all that you can to go, and, you know, just to be around like-minded individuals, to be around fellow witches, to show your support to one another, you know. And so if you don't participate on any of these groups, if you don't take advantage of monthly meetings or weekly meetings that some groups have, if you don't take advantage of that stuff, or I guess if you can't go to the meetings, you have a phone. You can get on that Facebook and you can chat with other ones. If you don't take the time to do that, you know, you're going to miss out on a bunch. The witch community is a wonderful community to be into. And you can learn and teach and show each other so much stuff, so much information. But, you know, that's another thing. You can't call yourself a witch and you don't even participate in anything, not only in your craft, but don't even participate with other witches. So that just irritates me. Number 12, being a witch. Know what being a witch is. You know, being a witch to me, it's basically like, it's like such a big awareness of the world. You know, it's such a huge responsibility to be a witch, you know, not only to be aware of the world, being aware of what's around you, the people that you keep close to you. You know, it's such a big responsibility. Being a witch is not just a title. It's something that you have to work at every single day. And it is such a hard title to have because there's so much badness that comes with that name, but there's also a lot of goodness that comes with that name. And we witches are working hard to change the way the world, you know, sees us. But it's hard when you have just people out there calling themselves witches and don't deserve to be witches because they're not putting in that hard work that the rest of us are. It's just, it really isn't, you know. How dare you want to, you know, shine in all the glory of being a witch and you're not putting the work into it. But being a witch, like I said, know what it is. Being a witch is more than just about casting love spells. You know, you'll see someone who goes into witchcraft and they start casting love spells. And then they give up on witchcraft because nothing is happening. You know, their spells aren't working. So they just give up on it. And the reason why it doesn't work for you is because you don't put any work into it. Do you not think that you're not, you know, to succeed in anything, you have to put the work into it? And that goes along with, you know, everything that I've been talking about with you know, researching and reading and practicing and participating, and it's work in being a witch. So those that just do a love spell and then give up on it because it doesn't work for them, there's a reason why it's not working for you. If you don't put work into it, you're going to get exactly what you put into your magic is the result you're going to get. So if you put nothing into your craft, guess what? You're going to get nothing back. If you put a lot of hard work and dedication into your craft, trust me, you're going to get rewarded. And the last thing, you know, being a witch is definitely not for people who are lazy, you know, about practicing their craft every day, or the procrastinators, or the selfish people, or you know, and I hate to say that, but it really, I'm just being honest. If you want to succeed in anything, you have to put in the hard work. Okay, number 13. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree with other people. If I've been doing witchcraft for a long time, and if I say something, it's okay to disagree with me because that's just my opinion. You have your own opinion, your own thoughts. That's just my opinion. It's okay to disagree with someone. It's okay to disagree with a post. It's okay to disagree with a book that you've read, or a video that you've watched, or someone who has been practicing witchcraft for 30 years and they are saying something. It's okay to disagree with it because every witch has a different journey, a different path, and it's completely different. It's completely unique from everybody else. So whether you've been doing witchcraft for a year or 30 years, your magic is completely different because it's not just magic, it's your path, your journey. Everybody is uniquely a unique individual. So the way that you learn, the way that you perform, the way that you practice, it's all going to be completely different. You know, as a photographer, I always tell people, I can give 5 people a camera and have them shoot an apple, just a simple apple. Every single one of those pictures, all 5 of those photos are going to be completely different. Same subject, but completely different because everybody sees it completely different. And that's how your craft is. That's how everybody's craft is. There are some basic things that everybody does follow, but it's on their own twist. They add their own twist to it. So it's okay to disagree. And number 14, know the path that you want to take. You know, if you want to take, you want to be Wiccan, you know, then do that. If you don't have to pick one. Like I said, you don't have to pick one. But if, you know, when I say know your path that you want to take, for me, I'm an eclectic witch. So that's my path. That means I take in everything that I can. You know, I try to read and research and practice different types of magic, and I take what I want from that, and I take from this, and I take from that, but I know that that's the path that I take. When I say that I don't believe in karma, that's a path that I have, you know, something that I believe in my own personal unique path. You know, I don't do rituals. I may set up things on my altar and give thanks, but I don't do the whole rituals where you know, go out at a certain time and, you know, you do this and you do that. I'm not Wiccan. I don't, and you don't have to be Wiccan to follow the rituals. I'm just saying, for me, I don't follow I don't follow certain things. That's my path. And number 15, being new into witchcraft, there's a few things that you need to know how to do. You need to know how to protect yourself. Number 1, before you practice any type of magic, before you practice anything as simple as a money spell, even a healing spell, any type of magic, learn to protect yourself first. That should be the very first thing that witches should know how to do, is protect yourself, your home, your family, your children, whatever. And stick with it. Be consistent with your protection. That should be a ritual that every witch should practice and do, is protection. And there's all different types of protection that you can do. There's all different types. And you find the one that works best for you. Also know how to cleanse yourself. You want to make sure that you are ridding yourself of negativity that you are maybe doing in magic, or negativity that you may be taking in from other people if you're doing healing spells, or just being around other people. And you're at work, you're around so much negativity. There's always negativity in people. When I used to work at the hospital, I couldn't wait to come home and cleanse myself, because I just felt all the negativity from everyone, always around me. And I don't want to carry that. I don't want that in my home. I don't want that on myself. So know how to cleanse yourself and be consistent with that. And know how to ground yourself. And that could be as simple as going outside and grounding yourself with nature. I'm sorry, I was looking at these 2 birds outside my window. Knowing how to ground yourself. And these are very simple things that you can do. Those are things I think are the 3 things that you should know how to do. And again, there's so much more, but I'm just going to stop it at that to already go after going 32, 33 minutes or so. But witchcraft, the best thing I can say about witchcraft is you have the freedom to choose your own spiritual path. And with that freedom, you can create your own unique way to practice. You don't have to go by the book. You don't have to follow someone else. Being a witch gives you the freedom to choose whatever path you want to take and create something completely different and unique, for yourself. Anyway, I hope this video helped. Like I said, it's just a few things. There's so many videos out there that you can watch on advice, and like I said, just think for yourself, but know what you're talking about, and do some research and read and find what's best for you. And remember, being a witch takes a lot of hard work and dedication. It takes being consistent and being true to yourself. So, alright guys, love y'all, blessed be, bye.